Boy, is it really that time again? Well, it must be, because I'm seeing clouds. It's time to go back to the shop. What's cracking, y'all? It's Kurt the Car Guy coming back at you again. And, no car today, unfortunately, but we do have another dinosaur burning contraption here. Let me show you what it is. So I think what I got here is like a 1982 or 83, it's a R727A, I think is what the model number says down there. It's kind of faded. You just have to take my word for it. As you can see, there's some stuff missing here already, because I've already kind of gone in and tried to get some things to flash to life, and then I decided to bring you guys along for the ride. So we've already removed the gas tank over there, and the top cover, that's laying right there. Just 5 Phillips head screws. Any monkey can figure out how to remove screws, so I don't think I needed to show you that. But anyways, let's get into this thing. So me and the wife were on our usual Dunkin' Donuts run, and me being me, I saw this gem sitting on the side of the road, and let's be real, I couldn't pass it up. So I brought it in the trunk, I threw it in the trunk, brought it home, and then did a little bit here, as you can see, and it is as it sits right now, pretty much as I found it, minus the covers. So the way this thing works is it has no pull start whatsoever. It's completely electric, and remember, this thing's from the early 80s, so it actually does have a regular clutch like we're used to seeing on most mowers today. But then you got your primer bulb up here and this key switch, right? But it's only one position. It's like when you go to crank over your car, it's like the same as feeling as a start. So that's just the start only. Your actual ignition on is all built into the clutch, and it's just a cable that runs down to this mechanism here. When you pull the clutch in, it pulls this arm back, which pulls on the flywheel brake and closes the contact on this switch. And there is a battery actually in this thing. I did pop the cover off of it. It looks like it's just 6 D-cell batteries that are all series together, and believe it or not, there still is power in that thing. So we're going to go through and we're going to do some basic electrical troubleshooting, and we're going to figure out why this thing doesn't crank. Because the battery does have voltage to it. I'm not sure if it's losing voltage, but I got the bar depressed, hitting the key, and we got a whole lot of nothing. Well, I do have the starter relay pulled out of it, but trust me, the relay wasn't even clicking. So let's figure out why the starter relay is not working. So this is the starter relay out of this thing. As you can see, it's a 12 volt, made in USA. Wow, you don't see that very much anymore. And it's just a regular 4-pinner like most starting systems are. So I took that out, and then here's the connector for it. This pin right here is the one that goes to the starter, and then this guy right here is the one that goes to the battery. And then these other two, I think, are for are the control side of it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna check to see if we got power going in here first, and then if we got power here, and then we're gonna check to see if we got power on one of these wires back here. I bet it's probably gonna be this red one. So let's see real quick. We're gonna use a test light on this job. All right, so doing after some poking and prodding in there, see I got my ground hooked up right there. Did some poking and prodding in there, and we ain't got no power at all coming to this connector right here. So I'm starting to suspect that this connector right here is the culprit and why we're not getting any power to anything over here. So let's go ahead and clean these up and let's see what happens. All right, so after doing some more troubleshooting, this pigtail connector here, this thing, I mean, I tried cleaning it up and it's just not working. So we're gonna go ahead and give this the old snip treatment. We're just gonna put some regular ring terminals on here for a battery I already have. But one little thing I did just to make sure that this thing actually still has some life to it is I unplugged the starter over here and I hooked it up to the battery pack here. And if you listen, the starter still works. So we just gotta figure out how we're gonna get control and power to said starter, and then we're all set. We throw some fuel in her and see if she lights off, boys. Alright, so after doing some more poking around on the old guy, I think we finally found our problem, boys. Had to break out the old digital multimeter to figure out for sure, but looks like we got a bad starter relay. So looks like made in the USA kind of let us down this time, but this looks like an aftermarket relay. maybe, but either way, we'll just bypass it for now. Did get it to crank. Did give it a little shot of brake clean in the intake just to see if I could get it to pop off. It does have spark, but I couldn't get it to pop off on brake clean alone. So what we're going to do is we're going to charge this little battery up. Actually, I think I'm just going to substitute that one because I think that one's getting a little weak. It does still hold the charge, believe it or not. I was able to crank on this thing for a solid 30 seconds at a time, and it just barely started to get down when I quit. So that battery's still pretty dang tough. But I think we're going to get some proper two-stroke dinosaur juice in her. And then we'll probably just fill the carburetor up right through the fuel line here. And then instead of just fogging it and, you know, scratching up the cylinder, it actually does feel like it's got great compression. When I spin it over, it rebounds pretty good. So it's still got some good compression in it. I checked the spark with a good old CJ6, and she does still have spark. I just don't have a spark plug wrench to pull the actual spark plug that's in it out right now. But it does have good compression. It's got spark. I think this is going to be a runner, but we'll see once we get some two-stroke in her. You better stay around to find out. Make sure you subscribe, and make sure you hit that thumbs up button as well. Let's all fight the YouTube algorithm. But alright, I'll see you guys on the next video. Have a good one.